Happy Railzz to you. Welcome back, my friends. Happy Railzz to you. It's good to see you again. Happy Railzz to you. Please keep watching. All right. It's G-Man, My World 67. Welcome back. Well, I just wanted to share this with you. Still in the process of working on the layout. Hadn't really gotten anything done this past week. Still having a little problem with my hand, so I hadn't been doing a lot. But I did get this package in. For some reason or other, my camera doesn't want to stand up today. But I did get this package in, and thought I'd take the time to show you what we got. All right. So, as you saw in the last video or so, I've had a couple of guys actually send me some HOTrains. And I had talked about getting my old HOTrains out, and which I still haven't done. But now I am going to try to, in this next week, get those out and clean them up and go through them and see what we've got. But I ran across this train set from trains.com. And this is a Circus train. It's called Corkys Carnival Caravan. And I don't believe it's complete. I know it doesn't have the track or the original transformer. But it does have, this is really well wrapped, by the way. It does have let me set this one down. It came unsnapped. There. Okay. I believe it was the engine and 3 cars. I think it was supposed to be 4 cars or 5 cars originally. So let's look and see. There's the Carnival caboose. And all of these look like they're practically brand new, actually. There's the engine. I can, today my hand is a little better than it was. It has been for the last couple of days. It kind of went backwards on me. Okay. I thought it had 2 boxcars. But apparently one of the boxcars didn't make it. And I'll have to check into that. I thought there was actually 3 cars, the engine in 3 cars. But we'll check it and see. I actually found 2 sets. I found one on eBay, and I found this set. Aha! Here it is. Now, I don't know which year of production these are, but I know years ago, and I can't remember whether it was pre-911 or it was during 2001 or 2002. But I'm thinking it was more like 98 or 99. I actually purchased a brand new Corkys set. Get a little different angle with the camera here. And I had the small set. They were like $100 and some, and I got it on sale. It was right after they first came out for like 90 something, and it had the Ferris wheel and some clowns, I believe. And it might have had something else in it. And we only ran it one time. And after that, I don't know, we moved, and it and several other trains, I believe, got lost in storage. We had those trains in storage for about almost a year and a half. And so we lost them. And I always kind of wanted another one, but I never have gotten one, because when I rebuilt my new layout in my next home, I was kind of getting away from the HO and was doing more S gauge, which was always been my favorite model. I had gotten into HO when I was in the military. And I had a few pieces of HO, because at the end of my childhood years, going into my teenage years, I received my first HOTrain set. I was about 12, 13, maybe 14 years old. And at that time, I was no longer really interested in trains. And so I had an HOTrain set, which was Mark's, that I never, ever even ran, but maybe once or twice. I actually put it on a board and put it under my bed. And of course, by the time I was 15, 16 years old, I was doing so many other things that I wasn't no longer interested in trains at the time. So all of my trains, my Mark's O gauge and the HOTrain set, the one HOTrain set I had got put away. Well, while I was in the military, ran into 3 or 4 other guys who was into HO modeling. And they wanted to start a railroad club while we was in the service. And so we actually had a train set up. Got permission and set up a train set in the non-commissioned officers club. And we used to go in and run trains and work on a small layout. And it was neat. A lot of the guys really enjoyed it. So I got so involved into that when I came home from the service, I actually brought home a duffel bag full of trains. One duffel bag of clothes and one duffel bag of trains. It was all HO. Then, as I said, in the 70s, I ran across a guy who had American Flyer, and the only American Flyer train set that I had ever seen before was the one that I had that my aunt had given me when I was, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years old. And it was a used set. She worked for a doctor. She was a nurse. And his son had outgrown it, and so he gave it to her. And she gave it to me. And it stayed there at her house. And when she passed away, the train disappeared. And so I never actually got to take it home. And after that, I never even saw another S-gauge train set until about 1974, when a friend of mine, his brother, was a little older than we was, about 3 or 4 years older than we were, and he owned his own home. And he had a big layout, a huge layout in his basement. And he invited me over, and I went over and I saw his trains. And that was the first large layout in S-scale or S-gauge that I'd ever seen. He also had a little O gauge running on that same layout. But S-gauge was his primary. And as soon as I saw the S-gauge, I fell in love with that S-gauge all over again. And of course, as you know, I love Marks. And so I've always been an S-gauge and Marks guy. But I've always held on to a little bit of my HO. And so I'm going to do a little small HO layout just to run a few HO trains on. Now, I never thought I would ever be buying any more HO, but since, as I said, I've had a couple of people send me HO, gift me HO to work on. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I hadn't worked on HO in probably 15, 20 years. So we got the one HO train running. I'm going to get the other HO train running, and then I'm going to get mine out, pull mine out, and see what mine look like. They haven't seen the light of day for 15, 20 years, so we'll pull them out and see what they look like. In the meantime, I thought it'd be nice to have this Corkys set when I ran across it. I love Circus stuff, and so I've got my Flyer S gauge Circus cars, Circus train, and I've got a few cars that I haven't dug out yet for my O gauge, and so I thought it'd be nice, since I had an opportunity to pick this up at a really reasonable price, to go ahead and purchase this. So there it is. This is a Corkys, as I said. What year it was manufactured, I don't know, but it is in all the Corkys trains. This, I'm sure, was probably made in either Yugoslavia or Slovenia. Let's see if we can see. I can just hold this right hand. By the way, I could just barely hold something. That's as tight as I can grip anything in that hand. Anything smaller than that, I can't even hold on to it. So I don't see any markings on the caboose. Yeah, Yugoslavia, made in Yugoslavia. And these were made by IHC. So small you can't see it down there. Yugoslavia. And we're going to have to snap that back on. These have little tabs on each end, and they've got these slots that go over the tabs, and they're supposed to hold the cards in place. It's popped loose. No big thing. Some reason or other that one doesn't fit tight anymore, but we'll fix that. Might have to put a little dab of glue on it. I don't like to do that because if you ever need to take that off, then of course it breaks the tab usually. That's good enough for right now. Otherwise, these cars are perfect. They've got all the steps. The lettering, the coloring is impeccable. A little bit dirty, but not that bad. I really like the graphics. They're not over the top. And they're just really kind of plain, but they grab out at you. The colors, the type of lettering that they use. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. As to the layout, an update on the layout. As I said, I hadn't done anything since the last mini update. It's kind of hard with one hand, and I've been periodically in so much pain with my hand that I haven't really had much interest in trying to do anything with it. It just makes it hurt more. So I hadn't been repairing anything this week and have not worked on the layout. But as I said last week for this week, hopefully next week I'll be able to get back down to brass tactics, and we'll be able to get back to working on the railroad. All righty, that's all I have for you today. I want to give a shout out to John Long and to Ray and to Jim Barker. Give a shout out to Ed Bendenberg and to Chuck and to all you guys. I don't want to miss anybody, but if I get to calling names like I did, I'd be here for another 30 minutes trying to call all you guys out. I just want to give thanks to everybody that tunes into my channel and has been supportive in whatever way you've been supportive. I appreciate you. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the emails that I get when I do get emails. I appreciate those of you who've made donations. And by the way, if you ever have any trains that you're no longer going to do anything with, or you can't fix yourself, but you don't want any more, and you just like to see them running again, please feel free to contact me at gman1924 at rocketmail.com. And I promise you I'll get back to you. All right, that's all I have for you for today. As always, if you enjoy working on your trains, running your trains, customizing your trains as much as I do, then you should have happy rails. Bye-bye.